With all that said, this will be Dexter Resurrection, Season 1, Episode 10, the Season 1 finale. The title of this episode is called Injustice for All, and this will be my spoiler review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start with Charlie and Prater outside the vault, and Prater says that was fucking unbelievable. Charlie says that was fucking stupid. You killed a cop. Charlie's put up with these psychopaths for years, but that in there, she did not sign up for. Prater says things got out of hand. Prater says he's just going to leave him in the vault. The rule of threes: food, water, and oxygen. In 3 days, Dexter should be dead by his rule of threes. And he tells Charlie no one gets near that vault. Dexter, inside the vault, sees the gun that killed Angel Batista. He can't get his prints on that. There's got to be another way out. Dexter covers Batista's body. Rest in peace, Angel. You were a good cop, but even a better man. And then Dexter hears clapping. Oops, you did it again. It's Brian Moser has returned. I mean, this was spoiled before the season started. He announced it on Instagram. And then he says, that's what happens when you try to be someone you're not. And Dexter says he told Batista to go home, and Brian Moser says Batista couldn't go home. And then Brian says he spent 20 years thinking that he was his best friend, and another 10 years thinking you were a murderous psychopath. I don't think he thought he was a murderous psychopath for those 10 years, but that's what Brian thinks. And then he says that Angel's dying words were, fuck you. And Dexter says he's glad he killed him when he had the chance. Charlie tends to a bad cut on her left arm when Dexter threw the axe at her as they were leaving the vault. Brian tells Dexter that if he had the Bay Harbor Butcher locked up, he wouldn't open the door for a month. Probably a smart decision. Dexter throws a chainsaw at Brian. I'm not dying in here. And then we hear Smash Mouth's All-Star start playing. It's actually Batista's phone, and Joey Quinn is calling. Dexter actually answers the phone in terms of putting the speaker on, but doesn't say anything. And then we hear Quinn say a detective called him, come home now, Masuka is driving me fucking nuts. And then Dexter hangs up and says he misses them. There's only one person he can call. And then he calls Harrison.
Oh, baby, I earned you today. Jess, it's 5 p.m. on...
So he can call. And then he calls Harrison. Harry questions Dexter at that point, and then he calls Harrison as he's getting it on with Gigi. And Harrison sees that Batista is calling and ignores it. Batista calls again, ignores it. And then another call, and Gigi, with her tits out, she's topless in this scene, which is great. Props to somebody for getting naked on the show. Says that Harrison can't talk right now. His mouth is full of me. And then Gigi looks kind of stunned and says, your dad wants to talk to you. We don't hear Dexter on the line. And then Harrison asks why he's calling from Batista's phone. The last time you called from a cop's phone, Dexter says, yeah, Logan, I know. Prater killed Batista, and I'm next. Harrison says, what can I do? And then we see Harrison calling Lance to ask if he can still work the gala, and he'll text Harrison the address. Dexter finds Prater's files on all the serial slayers, throws out Lady Vengeance, Keith Bauer, the Canton Clover, Slayer Yonkers, Cooper Morris. Harry says you'd think Prater left a post-it note secret code in the secret vault code in the files. And Dexter's like, he might have. And then Dexter takes a look at Al, Rapunzel's file, and Dexter says he can figure it out. It's an 8-digit number. And then next Dexter finds a Charlotte Brown file with her name being Charlie Brown. And Harry says, no wonder why she's always pissed off. That was a funny moment in the episode. And then he looks at Ronald Schmidt, Red's file. And then Dexter looks at Cooper Morris's file, finds out that Cooper Morris killed Prater's parents on today's date. Pretty significant number, don't you think, to Harry? Dexter's sure that's the code. He's betting his life on it. And then Harrison FaceTimes Dexter as he's in, puts the phone in his lower jacket pocket where Dexter can see what's going on. And then we have Claudette Wallace arriving. Melvin Oliva is there to greet her with a sucker in his mouth. I found that to be odd, that he had a sucker in his mouth. Don't know why. Everything about that guy is suspicious to me. And he tells her that's a really good color on her, and she points out that his sleeves are still uneven. Dexter tells Harrison to avoid Prater. The mayor gets a drink from Harrison's tray, as does Prater, so much for avoiding Prater, who mentions having a yacht. Harrison tells one of Prater's guys that a waiter is really stoned and he's a little concerned about him, and then he points out the guy to be Lance. He'll have to make it up to Lance at a later time. And then Harrison makes it up to the 5th floor penthouse, but it's locked. He tries to pick the lock like Dexter taught him in Dexter New Blood, but Charlie opens the door, pointing a gun at Harrison. Have a seat. And then Harrison asks Dexter what he should do, and he says, give the phone to Charlie. And Dexter calls her Charlie Brown, which is really funny. You need to open the vault. She says, as fun as that sounds, she thinks she'll leave the Bay Harbor Butcher safely locked. And then Dexter tells Charlie that Prater's been documented her dirty work for a long time. He'll airdrop photos to all the cops downstairs. And then Charlie actually threatens to kill Harrison, but she'll let him go this time. And she tells Harrison if he was smart, he'd walk away too. There's nothing good in there. And then Dexter notices that he's losing his battery, and Harrison says switch to just voice instead of the video. And he tells Harrison he can go. Harrison says, just give me the code, Dad. And Dexter says he's about to enter that code today, the date, and then he changes his mind and uses Cooper Morris's inmate number. And then Batista's phone has died before Harrison enters. Like, he's entered the number already, but he hasn't done anything else. And then he's like thinking, like, does he want me to enter this code and go for it? And Harrison decides to enter the code, or press enter. And the vault door opens. Dexter picks up Harrison and hugs him. You did great. He's always telling Harrison, you did great. And then Dexter grabs all the files, also his blood slide box. And Dexter tells Harrison he's really glad he didn't kill him, as Dexter needs to find Red's print. He's lost it. He doesn't know where it went. Charlie tells Prater she's done protecting him. She says she's going to disappear, and he's going to continue covering her mother's medical care. And then Dexter finally finds the print, Red's print, on Angel Batista. Prater says he is contributing $2 million for the police fund, and then he spots Harrison and gives the mic to his co-conspirator, NYPD Commissioner Frank McNamara. And then Prater leaves to follow Harrison, or at least look into Harrison, investigate Harrison. Prater demands to the surveillance guy, that all the cameras be shut down, and asks for the surveillance guy's gun. And then we have Prater finding Harrison and points the gun at him and tells him to head down the stairs now. And then Prater calls Dexter, says, you don't want to miss this party, this after party. Harrison tells Dexter he's in the wine room. Things would be a lot easier if I didn't care, Dexter's narration says. Is this the cost of loving someone? And Harry says, get that fucker. And then Dexter meets with Harrison and Prater in the wine room, and Prater's like, so glad you could join us. And Dexter says, release my son. You don't have to do this. And Prater says today he got a chance to be him today, and it felt exhilarating. Maybe this was his destiny all along. So now he wants to be a killer, because how he's feeling. And Dexter says, kill him instead. Like, shoot me in the heart. Don't take my son. And then he's like, the man who took out the Bay Harbor Butcher, leave Harrison to live with the consequences. Dexter says, I'm sorry I couldn't give you the protection you needed. And then they go back to that scene where Dexter says, here's some protection. And it's his M99 needle. And Harrison stabs Leon Prater with the M99 needle, not needle. And Dexter gives Harrison Red's print, and Dexter says he'll thumb a ride. Prater's wrapped up in plastic on Brian Moser's table. Prater begs Dexter not to kill him. I'll give you anything you want. And Dexter says he's good. And Prater mentions enough money for Harrison to go to college. And then Dexter says, never mentions my son's name again. And he says to him he tries not to kill good people, when Prater says this wouldn't have happened if you would have killed that cop when you were supposed to. And Prater says, a serial killer with a conscience. Dexter says, a code given to me by my father. Being around like-minded people was intoxicating. And then we have Oliva and Wallace, Claudette and Melvin. They pose for pictures at this gala, and we find out that the gala, with Leon Prater's contribution, has raised $22.8 million. And Dexter doesn't want to remember Prater, so he doesn't actually take a blood sample from Prater. He doesn't want a trophy in his blood slide box of him. And then Dexter cuts off one of Prater's fingers. It was his thumb. I didn't quite catch it, and I didn't go back to see what it was. And then he cleans up all the prints in the vault. Claudette's about to leave, and then she hears "Staying Alive." And then she gets all riled up and wants to go dance on the dance floor with Oliva. That, in my opinion, was the most cringe moment in this episode. Like, I don't know what her obsession is with the song "Staying Alive." I thought what was going to happen is that song was playing from the vault, and that's what would have made her go to the vault. But nope.
The world sparkles with joy, yet your heart feels dim. Among the twinkling lights, you sit in the shadows.
Shut up.
It's playing from the vault, and that's what would have made her go to the vault. But nope. She just heard it and wanted to dance to it. Cringe moment, in my opinion. So Dexter has Prater all chopped up now in garbage bags, looks in the direction of Batista, and he says goodbye, for real this time. And then Dexter leaves Leon Prater's vault. Dexter says it's time for the world to see the real Leon Prater, and then he enters a code that's not correct on the keypad, so the alarm goes off. And then a bunch of cops, including Claudette, Wallace, and Melvin Oliva, head up to the penthouse, and they find Angel Batista's body. Dexter is on Prater's yacht. Being back on a boat is a resurrection of sorts, Dexter says, but it's different this time. And then Claudette makes sure that the coroners that are taking out Angel Batista, that he leaves with his hat, because it was Captain Batista's hat. And then Melvin Oliva hollers at Claudette Wallace. He has found that frame with the New York Ripper's sewer or manhole, lifter thing up. And it says the New York Ripper on it. And then below that, a bunch of files. And one of the files says, Don Frampt, the New York Ripper. And Claudette has this look of amazement, that's who this guy is that I've been chasing all the time. Don't know who that character is. It's one of my predictions, but these are going to be Oliva or some random character that we don't know. Well, I guess it was some random character we don't know. I would have preferred Jonah Mitchell, but, hopefully they'll cast somebody really good to be this character, if that's going to be the character in season 2, but maybe it won't be. Who knows? And then we have Charlie and her mother who are leaving this cesspool of a city, and they're going to go live in her childhood home. And Dexter says he might not be built for solitude. He needs people like Blessing and his family. As Rapunzel said, even people like me need to belong. Dexter says he misses Deb. And then we have Harrison and Gigi. They're kissing and making food. And then I still am suspicious of Gigi. I feel like she's going to end up being bad in the next season. And then Dexter says his narration is saying he can lean on Harrison to becoming more human, more connected, as he throws Prater's body parts into the water to remind me why I do what I do. And then Dexter feels the serial killer files. I used to wish that I could be different, normal. A life without my dark passenger, but who am I kidding? This is who I am, what I am. I'm Dexter Morgan. I'm exactly who I need to be, exactly who you want me to be. And then we have another grin to end the episode and this season of Dexter Resurrection. So it was a pretty good episode. I saw it earlier because it was leaked, the Russian thing. Obviously, I watched it without audio though, so it was better than watching it framing through it. But it was a good finale. It was a safe finale. There was a little bit more I felt like they could do, and there's some cringe moments in the episode. Overall, I'm going to give the episode a 9.1 out of 10. In my character of the episode or characters, obviously Dexter we know is the character of every episode. For this one, I'm going to choose Leon Prater. I really like the scene with him on Dexter's table, or Brian Moser's table in this case, and Harrison. Somehow, some way, I'm a fan of Harrison now. I can't believe it. They did something that I thought they'd never be able to do. So that's it. That concludes my reviews for Dexter Resurrection Season 1. Maybe I'll rank all the episodes, too. We'll see. Maybe I'll rewatch it and re-rank them. I don't know. But you all know that my Dexter content is coming, all the videos that are going to come this week. So if you're a fan of Dexter and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button. Otherwise, I'm going to put you on my table, wrap you up in plastic, and that's what you get for not Hulk smashing the like button. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are regarding this season finale of Dexter Resurrection. What's your score? Who's your character of the episode? Not only will I be in the comment section, but T. Parker Evans,